Hello? This thing on? Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. This piece right here, power steering wearing gear thingy, my bobber that has the shaft, is heavy. Okay? I don't know if you guys could tell, but when I pick this up, I'll start making some weird noises, man. It's not exactly light. Anyways, I went ahead and I made this up yesterday. It's going to be the gasket that goes in between this piece and this piece over here. And I made it out of some gasket material. You can pick it up at O'Reilly's, AutoZone, Advance, any of those places. I'm sure you might be able to find it online or somewhere else. They make a couple different types. This is just, I don't know, the cheapo stuff, I guess. It's good for gas, oil, and stuff like that. Anyways, what I did to make this is this was a square piece that I had laid out over here, a sheet of it. And I got a hammer, this one right here, and I tapped out all around the inside, holding it in place. Make sure you don't move it during this. Holding it in place here. And it'll tap that center out. Pulled it off there. Got the center out of the way. Put it back. Do the same thing for the outside. Got it all knocked free. Pulled it off. Now what I did for the holes here, you can pretend this screwdriver is a punch, if you will. I'd find it with my finger where the hole would need to be, because it'll flex a little bit, you know, because there's nothing to hold that thing flat. It'll bow in. And I'll put that right over where I think it is, and I'll shove it through there, through the hole, to give me a rough estimate of where those holes need to be. And once I got them all there, I came over here. I got me a bolt. I took this whole thing inside, put it on the table, lined the bolt up, got that hammer, and just started hitting it until that material decided to fall off. It doesn't take long. This material is really easy, real malleable, I guess you could say. But yeah, that's how I made this here. Probably took 30 minutes. So don't be afraid to make your own seal for this thing. It's not intricate like a motorcycle or something. Trust me, I've tried making stuff for that. It is not easy. This one might look a little rugged, but it'll do. I'm still going to use some RTV under and on top of this gasket here, just to kind of hold it in place. I guess you don't need to put it on top, but just kind of keep it from bowing and hold it there, so while I put it in there, it's not sliding around and doing all that other crap. And I don't have to buy that tacky stuff, whatever they call it. Now, for this middle part here, that I told you guys I thought needed a seal. I still have no idea if there's supposed to be a seal here or not, but I went ahead and did the right thing and went and bought one. And here's the part number for it. Give you a second to look at that there. I bought this from O'Reilly's, and it's not a very thick seal, as you can see, but it'll sit right in here, flush, just like it's, well, flush on the outside. And then when you get your hammer and kind of slowly knock it in a minute, it'll sit flush. Now this one's not exactly thick enough. It's a little bit shy of being just thick enough. But just don't knock it all the way down, because I can't find the seal that's supposed to go in it, even if there is supposed to be one. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to knock it flush and leave it like that. Put my gasket on here, call it a day. Now I do have the ID, OD, and all that crap. I forgot to write it down. I don't know if it says on here. Of course not. But I can show you guys with my little micrometer thing real fast. Whatever the name of that thing is, anyways. I'll show you guys, or I can pull it up, one or the other. Matter of fact, I'll probably show you how I measured it, so you can do it at the house. You can go to Harbor Freight. I picked up one of them little micrometers for like $5, I think. Real cheap. It's not the electric one. It's the old-fashioned. Well, I say that. It's plastic, but it reminds you of the old-fashioned ones. But that's how we got that seal from O'Reilly's. Let me step in the shop, grab that, and I'll be right back. Alright, so here we are. We got our little tool here. There's 3 ways to use it. You can measure the inside, here to here, outside, here to here, and depth by using this, okay? And that's all I did, okay? So what I'd do is I'd measure the inside diameter of this, just like so. I'd get it out there. Then we go off of this 0 here, and it says 61. Okay, show you. I don't know if you can read that. Hopefully so. And I do the same thing with this here. To get that depth, and that would be 9 millimeters. Now there's two ways of doing this. You can do inches on the top and millimeters on the bottom. Yours might be different, whatever. You can do that, and then you're going to have to measure the shaft size, which you would do over here on the shaft. Open this thing up, close it, and our shaft size is going to be roughly 35, 36. You can also do the inside here, but I would go off of the shaft just because this isn't as clean cut as that shaft is going to be. So that's how we went ahead and measured that stuff to get that seal there. So now that we've went ahead and I've told you everything I've done, now we need to put it all back together. So first things first, I'm going to go ahead and get my RTV here. We're not going to use a lot, just a little bit, because we already have that gasket. I'm going to go ahead and run a little bit just like so on that. So I can go ahead and run it all flat with a finger just to get this stuff to hold the seal together, or on there, not together, to hold that seal on there so we can have it flat when we go ahead and put it on. Okay, line that up. Flatten it out with your finger. There we go. Onto the seal, you're going to want to put that side facing down. Alright, so there should be no spring in there that holds that rubber. It should be facing away from you. You shouldn't see it, is what I'm trying to say. You put it in here, just get it a little flush. It might hit my gasket a bit. I don't think that's going to be a big deal. If you worry about bending this up, you can get a piece of wood and set over it and try to hit it flat. Depends on how good you are at knocking in seals, I guess. I've done a couple of them. I wouldn't say I'm the greatest, but I do alright. That looks pretty fine to me. So, I'm going to make sure our seal's back in place. I probably should have done it before putting that on there, but it's not a big deal. Gotta make sure we get it just as flat as we can. Perfect. Alright. It's time to put the big thing on there. Alright. Man, I'm telling you, I ain't kidding. This thing's heavy. So if you're doing this, do it a cheat way if you want, or bring a helper. Neither of which I'm going to do. So learn from my mistake. Okay? Just make sure you get it all lined up and you remember where everything goes, because it should face just like so. Alright, if you forget, you can look at your hoses. You can remember where those little grooves are I told you guys about, any of that. But just make sure it goes in there the right way. Otherwise, you're going to have a problem. Whew. Whatever you do, don't stick your fingers in there. Alright? Things haven't even have to really mess them up. I'm gonna try working this around. I think last time I had to caress it, but we might not have to. Yeah, there we go. Might not have to do it this time. Last time I had to tap it with a hammer because I was worried about really messing it up, but I think we're all right. We gotta make sure down here we're lined up. Make sure we're lined up here. We should be good. So let's start putting everything back together. Alright, to tell you the truth, I was trying to decide what bolts I wanted to put on first. Whether it be these 6 on the bottom here or these 2. And I was kind of leaning towards the 2 on the bottom because they're kind of the hardest ones to deal with. Now the reason I changed my mind and I'm going to be putting these 6 on is because if you go to try to move this down here with the pry bar, I know it might be hard to see for you guys, but camera placement here is just bad. Okay, but you have to put a pry bar down there underneath that little knuckle, that clamps I showed you guys, to move it up to get it in line with those grooves on that spline where those bolts go through. So if you're trying to move this up, well, the whole thing shifts. So to get it to stop from coming up, I'm just going to run those 6 in there and be right back to what we were doing down there. Just pry it up and, you know, go from there. This takes some doing, but we're going to start it. And the reason I say it takes some doing is because I'm fighting the seal I made, getting these bolts in here, and they have to be just the right way, but we'll get them in there. Alright, I've been tightening this stuff for a minute now. Dad helped me get this on here a little bit. He didn't stay working with me too long because I got a little irritable. Sorry, Dad. Anyways, I think this is how I'm going to leave it for tonight. Yeah, we'll probably pick this up early in the morning tomorrow. So, stick with me. Alright, everybody. We're a little bit shorter than normal. We're crouching, as you can tell, on the ground. Knees hurt bad. But this is how we're having to work on this because the camera ain't going to pick up with the sun glaring the way it is. About 10 o'clock Monday morning. Sun's beating down in just the right angle for the camera to be upset. But here's what we're doing. It's kind of hard to tell you or show you with my left hand, but I went ahead and left the pry bar under here. This pry bar, there's a cutout right here that just goes right in underneath that little knuckle right in there. And you'll have to pry that up to line those bolts, like those through marks on that shaft. You'll have to line them up. So that's what I'm doing now, and I just want to go ahead and show you guys before you guys get in here and do it, just so you guys can see. It's really hard to get in here and stay like this. My knees are hurting, so I'm going to go ahead and shut it down. We'll be back in just a second. Follow the steps of what I was telling you to put that in there. Drop it down, pry the bottom up after putting those on there to hold it in place. Make sure that it's lined up, slide your bolts in, they'll go in every time. It's not hard at all. A lot easier than I thought it was going to be. So yeah, follow what I told you. No problems whatsoever. The top one's really easy. Throw your ratchet in right here, hook onto it, let it rip until it's done. The bottom one, not really so much. You gotta have one hand in here like so to hold the top of the ratchet, and the other hand snaked in this way, and you're pretty much hugging this tire right here for a minute. At least that's the easiest way I found to do it, just so I can hold on to the top, and you're just sitting there and one tooth after one tooth on the ratchet, just sitting there ticking it away. So it takes a minute, but you'll get it done. And if you find a better way, let me know. I can't get my electric ratchet in there. It's one of those long necked ones. I probably could have tried from in here, but I only have a deep well socket, so it wouldn't actually go on with the bolt not being almost all the way on anyway, so it's kind of counterproductive. But yeah, that's how we do it. So hope that helps. So we've already went ahead and ran these bolts in, but I wanted to, you know, while I'm buttoning this up, wanted to tell you guys what I was doing to get this tank on here. Because like I said, hard to video it. All these moving stuff and me moving everywhere. But anyways, I didn't really need the pipe wrench. It was kind of just laying there to hold it. I did use a pry bar. Don't have to use it. I just did it for ease, you know. But I ran this first bolt in here. Just a couple threads and let the tank hang a bit. And then I ran the second one below it in. And when I used the next one I put in was the one directly to the right of the lowest one down here. And that's when I used that pry bar right there. I stuck it up underneath the tank and just so gently pushed up and then held it in with my hand on the back side. And that gave me just the right kind of, you know, clearance I needed to put that bolt in there. Thread it in a little bit, easy top. And now here we are, buttoning everything up. Just kind of making sure with the hand torque meter that it's just tight enough. You guys know. Okay, well, here we are. And I had you guys sit up there, videoed it. Well, I thought I videoed it. It wasn't. Anyways, when you go to put all these lines on here, one, make sure your video is right. Two, start here and do these two first. Simple, real easy. Get those knocked out of the way. What am I saying? Think of the kids. What am I doing? Anyway, don't forget this little tab here. Once you put this line on, it's like a overflow or a air regulator thing. I'm not really sure what it does, but it goes on there, so don't forget it. Thread it on, get it tight. Don't forget this little metal piece, the tab down there that goes on that bolt, because I had to run the bolt back off, put it back on there, not a big deal, whatever. Now, when you go over here, get your little pipe wrench, start at the bottom, and work your way to the top, okay? So, finish that one, do the soft line, work out here, and then go up, okay? This one will probably give you a little bit of trouble. You got to get it just the right way. I know when I first did this, I was out here trying to get that on here for, yeah, I don't even want to tell you how long because it's kind of embarrassing. Anyways, it takes a long time if you don't know what you're working with here. So, get that on there, then do that one, okay? And then you should be good. So, I'm going to go ahead and get all the tools up. I think that's it for this video, everybody. I appreciate you guys so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one. I hope this helps you guys. Please like, comment, subscribe. It helps me, helps the algorithm, gets my videos out there to more people, men and women like you guys. And thank you guys so much. I'll see you all in the next one. Hey buddy, I don't think you should be drinking out of that. Hey, yeah, stop drinking out of that, you. All right, you see that big one right there? We had one leak there. I tightened up a little bit more and it was done. Everything else ain't leaking. You can see all the hoses here. And then down under there, you don't see any leaks. I'll have to show you the other side really quick. Right up under here. Yeah. Besides that, tires are a little low. Air them up. We have a fuel leak here I just found. It's coming through this here. This is where you prime your fuel. And it's coming out right there, and I think on these bolts, but it could just be coming down and dripping off. So we'll see about fixing them. I think it might have some O-rings in it. I don't know. I've never taken it apart. We'll see. And then our PTO back here to raise up and fall. It wasn't moving, but I think it needs fluid circulate through it, or I probably was up here fucking with some of these levers right here and shut it off. I don't fucking know. We'll see. But that's it. I just wanted to show you guys. I started, I moved it. I'm gonna go driving around for a while, but we're good to go.